Okay, let's talk about an absolute masterclass in political and military strategy. This is the story of how one leader took a nation teetering on the edge of collapse and, with a single brilliant move, basically created its entire identity. So how do you unite a nation that's about to tear itself apart? This wasn't some thought experiment. This was the high-stakes, life-or-death reality for a warrior who'd just been crowned king of a deeply divided kingdom, a guy named David. And his very first move was going to decide everything. All right, to really get the genius of what David pulls off, you first have to understand just how bad things were. We're talking about a kingdom on life support. After Israel's first king, Saul, died in battle, the whole thing didn't just get messy, it completely fell apart. So picture this. For 7.5 years, it's a total stalemate. David's down south, ruling his own powerful tribe, Judah, from his capital in Hebron. Meanwhile, all the northern tribes are still loyal to what's left of Saul's family. It's only when that leadership finally crumbles that they come to David, basically saying, okay, fine, you win, you can be our king now. But you can just feel the tension, right? This was not a happy reunion. It was a fragile truce built on political necessity with zero trust. And that brings us to David's first huge test as king of this, well, united land. The number one challenge? Where do you put the capital? I know, it sounds kind of simple, right? Just pick a city. But no, this one decision was either going to be the glue that held his new kingdom together or the hammer that smashed it back into a million pieces for good. So yeah, David was walking the thinnest of political tightropes, seriously. Any of the obvious choices for a capital city? Well, they were just going to send this incredibly fragile kingdom spiraling into mistrust and, very likely, a full-blown civil war. Just look at the mess he was in. On one side, you have the northern tribes. They're thinking, this guy's from Judah. If he keeps the capital down south with him, he's just going to favor his own people. We can't trust him. But on the other side, his own people in Judah are saying, hey, we're your loyal base. We put you here. The capital has to stay with us. Moving it would be a total betrayal. See? It was a classic lose-lose situation, a political trap. So what do? This is where David's genius really shines. He looks at option A and option B, sees they're both terrible, and he picks option C, an option nobody saw coming. He decides, you know what? I'm not going to choose a side. I'm going to make a new side, a capital that belonged to no one and therefore could belong to everyone. And he had the perfect target in mind, an ancient, tough-as-nails fortress city sitting right on the border between the northern and southern territories, a place called Jerusalem. Think about it. Jerusalem was the perfect solution. First, geographically, totally neutral, right on the border. Second, politically, a clean slate. It wasn't owned by any of the Israelite tribes. Why? Because it was occupied by this other group, the Jebusites. So by conquering it himself, David wasn't picking favorites. He was creating something brand new, his city, a capital that everyone could rally around because it was won for them by their new king. Perfect plan, right? Well, there was just one massive problem. There was a reason no one had taken Jerusalem before. The city was a natural fortress. We're talking perched way up on Mount Zion with these super steep valleys on 3 sides. It was literally considered unconquerable. The people inside the Jebusites were so cocky about their defenses that they actually yelled down and taunted David and his army. This quote is just dripping with arrogance. They're basically saying, our defenses are so good, we could put the blind and the lame on our walls, and they'd still be enough to keep you out. Wow. They were that sure a frontal assault was impossible. And honestly, they were probably right. But see, David wasn't thinking about a frontal assault. He was a smart guy. He knew that every fortress, no matter how strong it looks, has a weak spot. And for Jerusalem, its greatest strength, being high up on that mountain, was also the key to its biggest weakness. Think about it. A city on a mountain has one major problem: water. Jerusalem's only reliable source was a spring way down in the valley below. To get to it, the Jebusites had carved this incredible secret tunnel system right through the rock. It was their lifeline. And David realized that lifeline was also their Achilles heel. So here's the plan. It is so simple, it's brilliant. Step 1, forget the walls. They're a death trap. The key is the water. Step 2, find that secret water shaft. And step 3, the crazy part, send your best soldiers up the water shaft. Not down, but up. They would pop out right in the middle of the city, totally behind enemy lines. It was an attack from the inside out, and the overconfident Jebusites would never see it coming. And guess what? It worked. Perfectly. The soldiers swarmed out of the passage, threw open the gates from the inside, and just like that, the city fell. David had taken the unconquerable fortress, not with overwhelming force, but with superior intelligence and pure strategy. And the first thing he did, he renamed it the City of David, making it crystal clear, this is my capital, the new heart of our nation. But capturing the city, that was really just step one. The true genius of this whole gambit was what came next. This single act was about to forge the very soul of a nation. 33. For the next 33 years, David would rule a stable, unified kingdom from Jerusalem. And that civil war that seemed so inevitable, it never happened. That fragile union between North and South, it didn't just hold, it got strong. The ripple effects were just massive. I mean, politically, it instantly ended that bitter North-South rivalry. Poof, gone. Suddenly they had this neutral ground, a federal capital that belonged to everyone. It gave all these bickering tribes a shared symbol, a source of national pride. And for David himself, it cemented his rule. No one could argue he was just the king of the South anymore. He was the king of all Israel, and Jerusalem was the proof. So here's the real takeaway. The conquest of Jerusalem wasn't just a cool military trick. It was a political masterstroke disguised as a military operation. David used a clever tactic to solve a problem that seemed politically impossible. He sliced right through that knot, achieving with one bold move what years of negotiation never could have. And what David's gambit really shows us is that a nation's capital is so much more than just a dot on a map. It's a symbol. It's a story. And sometimes it's the solution to everything. It kind of makes you wonder, right? How many times in history has the destiny of an entire people turned not on a great battle, but on the simple, strategic choice of where to build their home?